Hello and welcome to my craft room. I'm Jana Smakula and I'm very excited you decided to stop by and watch this video. I myself always love to look at craft room of other crafters, and if you're anything like me, I know you will probably want to take a peek inside of all of the drawers and see how I organize all of the crafty things that I own. I took a couple of minutes before filming this video to tidy my craft room up a little bit. It doesn't usually look as neat as it does now. There's typically a bunch of die cuts, some little leftover die cut pieces. Basically, it's a big mess, just like any crafter's craft room. So I don't want you thinking that this is how it usually looks, because it doesn't. In my previous craft room space video, I showed this little piece, and that's basically what my craft space was. And that was situated, that table was located in our bedroom, and that's where I crafted. As I started to craft more, and because now this crafting is my business, I have moved my craft space into a designated room in our apartment. So I have this little room. It's basically, I call it my office, and that's where my craft room lives. I do have other things in here. I have, here's like the little acupressure section. This is my side project. I film some acupressure videos with my friend. And then here I have some workout equipment that's actually tucked into that corner because honestly, I don't ever use it. So that's a quick glance at my craft room, at the space, the way it looks today in January 2022. I'm constantly adding furniture, changing things up. So I'm sure it will change in the future, but for now, that's what it looks. When I just started crafting, this white table, that was all that I had. And this is an IKEA KALLAX unit, and it's an IKEA workstation. So this is a 2x4 KALLAX with a table, an L-shaped table attached to it. I have modified it a little bit, and I've added a pegboard behind it with a shelf where I keep my foils. Now this desk, this is my computer desk. I don't actually do any crafting here because I find when I put a tripod on this desk, it limits my access to the drawers that I have over here, and that's not really convenient. So that's why I have the other desk right here, and this is my main crafting desk. I have my camera tripod on top. I intentionally left it on the table so you guys can see my setup exactly as it is. And that's where I do all of my crafting. I'm sure you want to take a closer look, so let's dive right in. First, I have this little IKEA ALEX unit, and I recently added it and it's been super helpful. So on the top here, I keep my paper cutter, my paper trimmer. Then I just keep some of my notebooks here to write the daily tasks. Here I have this little basket, and this is filled with the dyes or products or whatever products that I'm currently working with, and actually have a bunch of little baskets like this throughout my craft room. Right over here I have a bunch of those, and these are all separated by a different type of project that I'm working on. Going back to the IKEA ALEX unit. So I have a couple of drawers here, and each is a pretty functional drawer for me. So the top one is the one I reach for most often. That's where I have my most used inks. I have my clear blocks. I have my anti-static powder. I have my some of my tapes, some of my most used embellishments, a pencil eraser, a snack, because you never know when you're gonna get hungry in here. Some more adhesive. Craft knife, things like that. So that's my most used drawer. Now the second drawer is probably not one I reach for often, but that's where I have my additional card bases, some additional adhesive. I have some misty rulers in here. So just odd things, odd bits and pieces. Now this drawer is another one that I use very often. I have lots of different card bases in here. I replenish it replenish the blank card bases very often. And it's very convenient because I can just sit and craft, open this drawer, pull the card base, and I'm ready to go. And I also have some foam adhesive squares. That's where I keep my barely art glue, so additional glues, refills, things like that. The next drawer is where I keep my paper trimmer. If it's getting in the way, I can just toss it in here. There's lots of room here. I have my Copic chart in here as well, my Misties. I also have my quick trimmer for the foil for the platinum machine. I have some old cutting plates. I have my scoring tool in case I need to make a custom card base or like a slimline card base or something like that. I have a nail polish catalog because of course one needs one in the craft room. And then I have some stamps and like a stamp chamois and other bits and pieces. I'm not a very organized crafter, so my craft room is quite of a mess. And this last drawer is more of a technical drawer where I keep my equipment. I have my headphones and my audio recording equipment along with some batteries and then some cartridges for my printer to print the labels. Now, since we're down here, let's take a look what's under the desk, right? Okay, so now because this is under the desk, obviously this is the area that I don't use or reach for very often. So the supplies I have here is just something that I might have used in the past, but I'm not really using anymore. So this is more of a passive storage area. I don't use things that are kept in here. Or I don't use them often, I should say. So I have some 6x6 paper pads, some adhesive refills, things like that. Some additional colored cardstock. Not something that I use, but I don't want to throw it away, so I am keeping it here. Then down here, locked and hidden away from the eyes, I have my very old Zutter wires for the Bind It All machine. I no longer have that machine, but I still have the wires, so I'm keeping them. Maybe I'll need them in the future. I don't know. I also have a box from my Glimmer hot foil system. The box is empty. It just sits there. Then here I have more supplies. So these are the spellbinders and the FSJ, some of the dies, embossing folders, and some of their older product. A lot of this is discontinued, but it's stuff that it's still near and dear to my heart, so I do keep it. And then down here, I also have more old Spellbinders products. I just keep it in baggies and sorted by collection. I have a trash can because every crafter needs one. And then down here, this is more of a storage area for my husband because that's where he keeps all of the little cables, like a million cables in here. I don't know who needs that many. So things like that. At the top, that's where I have my Brother P-Touch little printer. And this is the one that I use for printing labels, for labeling products. Very handy, very convenient. Now, while we're here, you guys can see the little attachments. Now, these are the attachments for the IKEA pegboard. So the pegboard is attached to the desk, and I've also had it attached to the wall to make it a little bit more sturdy. Now, this pegboard is amazing. I know I have raved about it in my previous video, and I still love it. If you are in the United States, I know they've added lots of different colors, and I think they have other little inserts available. Here in Europe, we don't have as much variety, as much choice. I think the pegboard is still available just in white, but still, even in white and even with the basic accessories, it is one of the most functional storage systems that I have in my craft room. I'm gonna get up and show you everything up close. Okay, so right here, first up, I have my Copic marker storage system. Now, this is not attached to the IKEA pegboard. It is just a separate storage that I bought and put on my desk because that's where it is convenient for me to have it. These are stackable, so I have 8 of those and they're snapped together and they hold all of my markers. And if I ever want to get more markers, I can just expand my storage system and store and organize all of my markers neatly. Next, I have the little cups, and these are attached to the pegboard, and these hold all of my Copic marker refills, and then also some pens and things like that. So this is what the cup looks like, and that's how it attaches to the wall. I'm trying to do this with one hand. Okay, there we go. Good. So very convenient to have the cups, and you can fit quite a lot of stuff in them. Next, I have these little shelves. I have quite a few of those. They are very handy. And what I've done is I've made the shelves sort of into 2-story shelves by adding either little wooden blocks or some sort of material in the back to make the second row a little bit higher. This way I can see equally well the top and the front and the back row. And in here I just keep my little refill bottles, my little inks and things like that. Now these 2 shelves are those that I use most often, and these hold my embossing powders. And again, I've made them into 2-story. I just basically added a bunch of scrap cardstock over there so that the second row of the embossing powders is a little bit higher, and when I'm sitting, so this is at my eye level, when I'm sitting, I can see what color of embossing powder I have in the back, and I don't have to pick up and look at every jar when I'm searching for something. Now this shelf is currently empty. I don't have anything to put in there. Next, I have 2 cups with my colored pencils. So these are my Faber-Castell, and these are my, I don't remember, what are those? Okay, so these are also Faber-Castell, but they're watercolor pencils. At the bottom, I have some adhesives, some pretty pencils. These are just regular pencils. Some inspiration for colors, for color schemes. I haven't really used this in a long time. Let me show you what it looks like. But it just looks pretty, and I like having it on my desk. So it's just a little book that I printed myself using images that I found on Pinterest. So I printed that a very long time ago, and I've been using it, again, long time ago for color combos for my cards. So that's the look at the pegboard that is attached to the desk. On top of the pegboard, I have 2 shelves. Again, these are IKEA shelves, and these are attached to the wall. The shelves are perfect to hold my foil rolls. There's quite a lot of space in the back, so you can't fit additional stuff in the back. Here, if I have 2 rolls of the same color, I just put the second roll in the back, and that's how I know that, for example, I have more of this color, but none of this. So it just helps me to keep track. Now over here, the foil is stored a little bit differently. It is positioned a little bit differently. And that's because here I have a little foil storage system that is coming soon. I'm not going to mention anything else about it because I can't talk about it just yet, but I'll be sure to talk about it when it is here and when it launches. So stay tuned for that. Now let's turn this way. So here I have 4 drawers. I just recently installed the top drawers here, so I think they're empty. Yeah, I just have like little odd bits. Yeah, this one's completely empty, so nothing there yet. Now this one, I have my stamp cleaner, some daubers, some ink blending tools, some old glue, things like that. And then the bottom drawer is not really functional. I don't really use it, so I just have some odd stuff in there. The Kallax itself is not really that functional for storage because the cubes are very deep, and I have found that they are hard to reach in. So if I store something in there, it's not, for me, it's not very convenient. It provides a nice table. It does give you a lot of storage, but it's not convenient storage because our card making supplies, I believe, are tiny. They're small, so they don't really require shelves that are this deep. Now here I have my Jane Davenport binders. I do have, again, some Spellbinders dies in there. Then here I have the Ziploc baggies from Simon Says Stamp. And that's where I keep my past Simon Says stamp card kits. Super convenient, and these are super adorable. Look at this, like this is so cute. I love it. Then here I have some big dies. These are old dies from Fun Stamper's Journey from Spellbinders. I don't really use them, but I quite like them, so that's where I keep them. Then I have my camera for taking photos. Then I have a couple of cards that I've made but haven't taken photos yet. I have a wireless charger for my phone. That's where I keep it when I work. And well, that's pretty much it. So I have my laptop, and then I have some new catalogs from Spellbinders because I need to reference those when I work. Now, I talked a little bit about my camera. So I have my camera over there, and right here I have a window, and I've turned the window into a photo studio. So I have all of my photo boards in here, and I have all of my props in here. Often I take photos on colored cardstock. So I have that, and then I have my photo boards in here as well, and I have quite a few of them. So that's where I store that. And then over here, I have my flowers and my little props, and then some other cards that I've created, but haven't had the chance to photo yet. Okay. Next, over here, I have another mini pegboard. This is the one that I used to use a lot, but because I moved into this room, I don't really use it as much. So it holds some of my Spellbinders dies on the little hooks. Super convenient. But again, I'm not really using those dies anymore, so I need to reorganize that. And then have my scissors. Those I do use very often. And then I have this little caddy. I don't know, this is little storage section, very convenient. I keep my old catalogs in here, and then just some like old and odd things. Over here I have two little units for storing paint. I sometimes like to do acrylic pour, so I have a couple of bottles of paint, and that's where I store them. I also have some of my adhesive sprays, some watercolors, and then like a little decoration in here. Down here, I have a Recollections cube. Well, actually, two Recollections cubes, one stacked on top of the other. Again, this is not something I use very often. The stuff, I don't even remember what I have in here. So just some like odd bits and pieces. This is like I bought them quite a long time ago, and well, I'm just not ready to part with them yet. So that's why I keep them. They do make a nice addition to my room, but like the stuff that I have here, it's not something I use very often, but I do keep it, so that's where it is kept. Right here, I have my blending brushes. So I have two different storage systems. I have this little piece from Simon Says Stamp. Very convenient and actually very sturdy for holding brushes. So this is silicone on the inside, and you just stack whatever you want, and it sits in nicely, like very firm, nothing falls out. I really like this storage system. And then I keep my bigger brushes in these clear storage, I don't know what to call them, shelves or storage pieces. So these are from Waffle Flower, and again, I really like them because I can have my blending brushes on display, and I can easily and quickly find whatever I need. Next, I have a paper shredder, and that's what I use to shred leftover cardstock or some documents or things like that. Now, this little thing, this is where I keep new products that I have just received or stuff that doesn't have any other room yet. And that's something that I plan to work with. Now, I can move this closer to my main desk, and I can be standing right over there and then looking through here to find whatever I need. So it's very convenient that it is on wheels, and I can easily move it throughout my craft room. Okay, next I have a couple of shelves, and these are mostly for decorational purposes. So I do have my Nuvo drops. I have my watercolor inks, my alcohol inks, my glitters. But this is the stuff that just sits on the shelf, and it looks pretty, makes me happy. I love the color, so that's the purpose of these shelves over there. Then over here we have the other large pegboard wall. So I have 4 pegboards here, and I have one long shelf above them, and the shelf holds my very old Martha Stewart paper punches. I couldn't get rid of them, so I'm still keeping them. Now this is the pegboard here. I constantly reorganize it. I add stuff, I remove stuff from there. So it's not finished. It also doesn't look very pretty because, like I said, it's work in progress. Right here at the bottom, I have 2 Alex units, and these hold on the top. They basically hold baskets with current projects that I'm working on. So like over here, I have some of my Jana's blooms, and all of that is kept in here. And if I have any pre-foiled pieces or pre-cut pieces, I'll keep them in this basket. Next here, I have new products from Simon Says Stamp. Again, I keep it all in one place so that it's nice and organized. And some other products and basically projects that I'm working on. Now the Alex units themselves, they mostly hold my inks, but the inks that I don't really use that often. So let me show you. The top one here holds my embellishments. I have paper sharpener for my pencils, some adhesives. I have my mini wobblers in here, lots of stuff, lots of little pieces. Now this little insert, this is from Fun Stamper's Journey. They no longer make it, but I'm sure you can find something similar online. I got this very long time ago, and it's actually very convenient for storing little pieces. I also have one more over here, and I'll show that in a minute, for sorting die cuts. So that's that. Next, I used to use this drawer a lot, but not anymore. So I just have bits and pieces in here, odd things. I really do need to go through all the supplies that I have and purge and downsize, or organize. These are my Danielle Smith watercolors. I haven't organized them yet, so they're just sitting in a bag. Moving here, I have my Simon Says Stamp inks. Most of my inks are here, except for the new positively saturated inks. I do have a couple of them in here, but most are kept on my desk because I do use them very often. And I'm also waiting for an organized more ink storage unit so that I can have them on display and have a better storage system for these inks. Next, I have the same drawer filled with the Hero Arts inks. Again, I have different inks, the ombre, the regular. I even have some of the mini ink cubes in here. And the bottom 2 drawers are just filled with odd things. Here I have my mini distress ink pads, some cutting plates, more inks, more stuff, the Fiskars stamp press, things like that. And then this bottom drawer, that's where I have a lot of my tools. So I have, for instance, a gel press, a larger scoring board if I need to make a very large card base or an envelope or something like that. Another paper trimmer. I have lots of my coloring mediums in this drawer, as well as the coloring charts. I have my watercolors in here. So these are my Danielle Smith and the Fine Tack, and then I have Schmincke watercolors. And then I have another Misty. So lots of tools and coloring mediums in this drawer. Now this Alex unit, the bottom 3 are actually for keeping documents and things like that. I do have some of my W+9 inks in here, another paper trimmer, and then some old stuff, a very old photo frame with me when I was just 15 years old. That's my first this was taken on my first trip to the United States. I was a foreign exchange student and I stayed with a host family, and we had a trip to California to Los Angeles. So that's where that photo was taken. This next drawer is filled with the distress oxides and some other blending brushes that haven't quite made to my blending brush stand. Here I have my grid pads from Simon or from Spellbinders. Then I have an old cutting mat, some other colored cardstock. And then this one, I have my alt new inks. I have a sheet with die cuts. I better be very careful with this. And then right here, I have another one of those inserts that I showed you in a previous Kallax, and I have a bunch of die cut letters. And this particular insert is very convenient for sorting the die cuts and keeping them organized. So that's my Alex unit. Now let's go back to the table. So this is my actual crafting table. This is where I film all of my videos and make all of my cards. I have, this is actually what you would see standing where I craft. So I have my Glimmer hot foil machine. I have my heat gun. I have my Glimmer, these are the Glimmer plates. So Glimmer, this is like my Glimmer storage area. I have some Glimmer sheets in here and any pre-foiled Glimmer pieces. Then I have a little caddy with the Spellbinders gems and the Spellbinders embossing folders. So the new folders from Spellbinders are very large. They're 5.5 by 7.5 inches. So that's where I keep them. And then right here, I have another one with the Simon Says Stamp pre-printed sentiments, any backgrounds that I've made with the Simon Says Stamp products, things like that. A little storage thing for my tool-in-ones and the other tools that I need while I'm crafting. Right here, I also have 2 of my die cutting machines. I use the Big Platinum for die cutting, and then I use the new limited edition Aqua Platinum for Glimmer. It's very convenient because I don't have to remove the base platform every time when I need to run the Glimmer. So I just keep the base platform here. Here, I don't have any plates. I do have them right here if I ever need them, but this machine is kept free from plates because I have it as a dedicated machine for my Glimmer. Now, right here, I have a mini ink storage unit for my Simon Says Stamp inks. I got this one to test and see if that would work. It doesn't really work for me. I have too much space here. So I'm getting an organized more ink storage unit, and I'll see if that works better. This is where I keep my cardstock scraps. So this used to be sorted by color, but not anymore. It's just like one big pile of cardstock. So some more cardstock and then some more cardstock over here. Now, I also have these 2 shelves here. Let me move the furniture out of the way so I can show them properly. I had to move my workout equipment out of the way for now so I can properly film these 2 shelves for you. So this is where I keep my stamps and my coordinating dies. So I just have little baskets, and these are sorted by company. So I have Simon Says Stamp, My Favorite Things, Pretty Pink Posh, and so on. So they're all sorted by company. They're not organized very neatly just because I never have time, but they are organized well enough for me to know where everything is. At the top here, that's where I keep my colored cardstock. I do label it and separate it by color. That makes it easier for me. And then I also have little storage caddies with specialty cardstock. I got these shelves from Amazon, and I'll have a link below. I very much like them because they're open shelves and I can see exactly what I have. They also look very nice and they blend with the design of my room. They go well together with the white floors and the white walls, so I like the colors. As for the storage baskets, so I have several types. I have this storage basket that I bought locally here, and I also have this one from the Inter Design. This one is a little bit better because it has a tighter fit. So if I'm using the clear storage sleeves, they fit much nicer inside this one, so there's no leftover room. It's also a little bit longer, and that means I can store more product in there versus this one. I might get more of these and replace all of the white ones with the clear ones, but that's something, that's a project for the future. There is another rolling cart that I forgot to mention. This one sits under my main desk, and it is a very handy tool. I love this particular rolling cart. I believe this is from the VR Memory Keepers. I love it because it fits under the desk. So if I point my camera like this, you can see that the cart is tall enough, even with the product on top, to fit right under my desk. So the top shelf of the rolling cart holds my most used Spellbinders dies and glimmer plates. I've created these little magnetic sheets, and that's how I store my plates or my dies. Now I made these myself, so this is just basically some thick chipboard or cardboard, and I adhered 6x6 magnetic sheets on top so that it is sturdy, it's not flimsy, and it can easily hold a ton of product. And I can just flip through it and find what I need. I don't label them because I pretty much know what the product is. I just flip through it and I can easily find the plate or the glimmer that I need for my project. Here I also have additional cutting plates. For instance, I have the 6x6 glitter cutting plates for my machines. Right here, I also store my embossing folders, these smaller size embossing folders or the slimline embossing folders. And by saying smaller, I mean the regular A2. I also have this little attachment. That's where I keep my leftover negative foil pieces. And over here, I have my leftover die kit pieces from the Spellbinders color block slices. It's one of my favorite dies for making backgrounds. So I even have like a dedicated storage piece for it. The second shelves holds my pre-made cards, and these are all organized and bagged. So that's where I keep a lot of my cards that I haven't yet given away. And then the bottom one, it also keeps my cards, but these haven't yet been organized or put in baggies. So it's just a pile of cards. Whenever I finish a card, if I'm not giving it away right away, I just toss it in here. And then when I have the time, I can organize them and either move to this shelf or give away. So that's a look at my craft room. I hope you've enjoyed the tour. If you have any questions about any of the furniture pieces or storage solutions or products that I showed in this video, let me know in the comments below and I try to answer them the best I can. Thanks so much for joining me today. Love you guys, and I'll see you next time.